So we are standing here in front of the General Frederick Castle. Tell us about this man.
Well, it's a privilege. General Frederick Castle was born in, I believe, 1908 in Manila. His father was a career Army officer, and his father was stationed in Manila. He is the firstborn out of the West Point class of 1907. So as such, the firstborn of the class, his dad chose his godfather. And General Frederick Castle's godfather was General Henry Hap Arnold, the father of the Air Force.
Wow.
So
He was born into it.
he was born into it. And of course, when I say, some people may say, well, why, since he was an Army Air Force officer, did he go to West Point? Well, we have to remember, the Air Force didn't separate from the Army until 1947. So everything prior and up to 1955, if you wanted to be an officer in the academy, you still went to West Point. 1955 was when the Air Force built their own academy in Colorado Springs. So just a little tidbit there for you. He was one of the youngest, highest ranking officers in the 8th Air Force. 8th Air Force was charged with the strategic bombing of occupied Europe, Nazi Germany, and so on. He rose through the ranks very, very quickly and achieved the rank of Brigadier General. Not long after he achieved that, unfortunately, he lost his life. And how he lost his life is another story as to how he was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor posthumously after he died. So
that was quite far after he died.
Not too far after he died. I would say maybe 5 years or so. Castle Air Force Base, which used to occupy the base, was named in his honor as Castle Air Museum. So it still carries a lot of prestige and honor. Now, just to kind of give you an idea, he was leading 2,000 four-engine bombers to a target area. So just imagine 2,000 airplanes in the air all going in the same direction.
And that's a lot back then. We didn't have technology like we do now.
We don't. We didn't have laser-guided bombs. We didn't have precision bombing. It was basically maybe 10 to 15%, and that's a high percentage, would actually hit the target out of 100% of the bombs dropped. Okay, because they weren't accurate. So that just was the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Right. So what happened is he had pretty much a brand new airplane. It wasn't his usual airplane. And it had like a radar type of thing affixed to the belly. So unfortunately, one engine failed. So he had down to 3 engines. So he had to fall to the back of the formation. And once you fall to the back, you're a straggler and you're an easy target for enemy fighters to shoot you down.
You already knew you were coming at that point.
Right. So they started fires on the airplane. It was in bad shape. So what happened is, rather than drop his bombs, because below, this is over Belgium, they're friendly troops. He didn't want to do that. So what he did is he stood at the controls to let his crew get out of the airplane. Before he and I believe his pilot could get out, the airplane actually exploded and he was killed. So he is buried in Liège, Belgium, in American Cemetery. And we actually have a few pieces of his airplane in a case around the corner here, which you can see, and you can see pictures of the crash site. So this portrait that you see right here that we've talked about, used to hang in the Castle Air Force Base Officers Club. Been in the base closed, so obviously it came over to the museum where it's preserved for posterity.
He was pretty young when he passed.
Oh, he's very young. Yeah, he was probably 38, 40 years old. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, pictures you see on the wall here, that's him as a little boy growing up. His family. You can see behind you right there, there's a picture of General Arnold in the case. This is his father, Benjamin Castle. You can see him there, and that's Benjamin Castle's uniform. That's World War One.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That's the class Cup, I believe, from West Point, and that's Benjamin Castle right there, advocating on his son's behalf for the Congressional Medal of Honor.
What a great hat, too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those were at the time.
Is that his actual lighter? Mm-hmm. That is.
Yeah, Zippo lighter is what they call those. Now, we talked about the Congressional Medal of Honor. So we could probably look at that as well, too. This is his sword, officer's sword and scabbard upon graduation from the Air Force, or not, the Army Academy at West Point. So I almost caught myself there. So, and over here, you can see the large formations of bombers and how they would stream into the target area. And you had to be in the right place in your formation, otherwise you might get a bomb dropped on your airplane because they were stacked. So,
right, that's
yeah.
Friendly fire.
So in here, you can see a portrait of the general. This is his actual uniform. And that award in there with the gold star and the blue ribbon, that is the Congressional Medal of Honor.
How many people get awarded that?
Not many. Very, very, very few people live to receive it, but mostly it's awarded upon death or death in combat.
How successful was that actual mission that he died on?
Very successful, to my knowledge. They succeeded in, destroying targets. At that time, this was Christmas Eve, 1944, when he lost his life. So at that time, they were attacking targets like, the industrial, what was left of German industry to, help their war machine. But they were also attacking targets like, there was a place called Peenemünde where Nazis had developed the V-1 drone and the V-2 missile that was causing terror on England. That was the first really use of ballistic missiles and all to achieve war, war results and destroy targets. So, and the thing with that was you couldn't catch the missiles. They could tip the drone, but the missiles went up and down. And the scary thing is they were also developing a 3-stage type of missile to hit the east coast of the United States. So they were far ahead, and when you look at downrange, some of their engineers, like Dr. von Braun and everything, actually came to the United States not to be captured by the Soviet Union. And Dr. von Braun actually was one of the leading scientists and physicists that got us to the moon.
So cool.
Yeah.
This watch over here.
Right.
That was his watch?
Yeah, that's his yearbook from West Point from 1930. And
we can't look at it. I understand.
And if you look at the gentleman on the left pinning General Castle, that is General LeMay. He became the father of the Strategic Air Command. He was a 4-star general.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Oh.
It's so cool that it's named after him.
It is. It is. And then, of course, the base is still Castle Airport. It was Castle Air Force Base. And it did carry on the tradition of, training crews for strategic bombing.
So it lived on.
It did. It did. And, of course, the base now, this September it'll be 30 years that it closed. So it's hard to believe.
Wow, and this is going to be more special this year when we have our open cockpits.
I certainly believe so. Yeah, it's a banner year.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.